Welcome back to 6 Minutes of Movie Tales. Hue, the ancient capital of dreams and history, but behind its poetic, solemn facade lie terrifying secrets, etched in blood and porcelain. Our story begins within the walls of the prestigious Yongfook estate. The 60th birthday gala of Lady B was intended to be the ultimate pinnacle of her family's glory. It was a night where hundreds of paper lanterns, carrying prayers and blessings, were released to drift peacefully upon the lake. In our spiritual traditions, these lanterns represent the light that guides luck and ensures peace for future generations. But inside this specific mansion, that very same light was guiding something else, something that does not belong to the world of the living. Amidst the flickering, shimmering glow of the lanterns, a small, haunting figure appeared. Dressed in a green AO dye with a face as blank and void as a sheet of white paper, it manifested right behind young C. The sight sent the boy into a paralyzing state of terror, causing him to fall into the dark waters and drown instantly. The appearance of this faceless child, accompanied by the presence of a mysterious black cat, was the ultimate omen. A blood debt from the dark past had finally come due for collection. As the very last lantern left Lady B's hand, the corpse of the family's sole heir rose to the surface, a cruel, mocking irony of fate against Lady B's own greed and deep-seated superstition. The funeral requiem, which was supposed to bring peace to the departed, was twisted into something far more sinister, an evil soul-summoning ritual. Lady B, trapped in a trance-like state, watched in horror as a procession of faceless paper figures carried a dark palanquin through the mist. But make no mistake, my friends, this was no mere hallucination. An anonymous shadow had secretly performed paper doll sorcery. This is a forbidden craft where paper is shaped into human forms and spiritual energy is breathed into them, turning them into cold, rigid, and soulless slaves. These paper servants were carrying something even more malevolent, the faceless ghost child. But the perpetrator's goal wasn't just to strike fear. He was executing the body-snatching art, one of the most poisonous spells known to man, used to seize the physical vessel of the living. The ghost child acted as the medium, controlled by the mastermind to infiltrate and possess C's body the very moment the black cat leaped over the coffin. This combination of the leading paper dolls and the soul-snatching ritual created an uncontrollable roaming corpse. The mastermind didn't want the boy dead. He wanted a puppet, a vessel filled with resentment to slowly devour the entire Yongfook dynasty from the inside out. However, the sudden and unexpected appearance of P caused the procession of paper people to vanish instantly into thin air. The ritual was interrupted, but the seeds of evil had already been sown. As night falls, the Yongfook mansion transforms from a place of nobility into an open grave. Look closely at C's feet. You will notice something chilling. They never touch the ground. The child walks exclusively on his tiptoes, gliding through the halls with an eerie, weightless grace. In folklore, the heel is the point of contact with the yang, or positive energy of the earth. Demons and ghosts walk on their toes because they cannot endure the warmth of life. He uses his toes to glide through the shadows, silent as a ghost. But this is merely a mask to hide the rot festering within his soul. From this tiptoeing body, a pungent, suffocating stench of death begins to rise, the unmistakable smell of a decomposing corpse. Beneath his elegant silk AO dye, festering sores leak black blood, providing a home for thousands of maggots that are frantically burrowing into the grandson's flesh. And then, those silent, tiptoeing steps stop right in front of the poultry pens of the brutal blood feast. Hands that were once trained for fine calligraphy now savagely snatch chickens and ducks. The sickening crack-crack of bones being crushed mingles with the wet, rhythmic sound of blood being sucked into his throat in the dead of night. The thirst for survival. This creature does not crave meat. It hungers for fresh, warm blood to slow down its own decomposition. Every drop swallowed is a desperate attempt to satisfy the maggots, so that by sunrise, his heels can touch the ground again and his face can appear rosy and healthy before Lady B. This is the ultimate betrayal of the bloodline. A child using the family's wealth and life force to feed the maggot-filled mummy occupying his skin. This isn't just hunting. It is an act of spiritual suicide. When Master S, the sorcerer Lady B had trusted for decades, warned her that the boy was possessed by a hungry ghost and needed to be exorcised immediately, she didn't hesitate for a single second. She chose the shell of the heir over the soul of her grandson. This cold decisiveness pushed the family to the brink of collapse. The parents, Kim and T, could not stand by and watch their son be tortured by a sorcerer. Their fierce opposition was met with Lady B's thunderous rage, as she used her absolute power to crush their pleas. This was the final knife that severed the family's ties, forcing Kim and T on a desperate, lonely journey to find another way to save their child. Meanwhile, the Soul Cat began its systematic purge of the estate. 1. The lead mason. His sudden death at the cemetery, with his brains spilling out, was the first shot fired at the family's foundation. In our culture, if the graves are disturbed, the descendants will never find peace. This was a clear sign. The dragon vein was severed, and the ancestors had turned their backs. 2. The maid. Representing the dark corners of human lust and greed, she was trapped in the storehouse and devoured by a swarm of red-eyed rats. A brutal sentence for those trying to scheme their way into nobility. 3. The butler. Mr. T, the family's most loyal shield, was killed by shards of the very inlaid porcelain that symbolized the family's pride. With the butler gone, all order vanished. The mansion was now a cage, and the doors were wide open for the darkness. Master S, the family's last hope, was brutally executed at the graveyard on the night of the full moon. The Soul Cat ordered its minions to slaughter him while he was in a state of absolute panic. They cut his tongue, gouged his eyes, and sucked the very life force from his veins to ensure he could never chant another spell or see through the ghost gates again. The only hope now lies in a secret notebook belonging to the late Master Q. It reveals the horror of the spirit fusion rite, a parasitic bond where a practitioner fuses their soul with spirit animals like cats or cobras to gain absolute power. The key to identifying the killer is the mark of black nails. On a full moon, the human body cannot harmonize with such intense evil energy, causing the fingertips to turn a deep, stained black. Who is the mastermind hiding among them? Is it a lowly servant or someone sitting at the very head of the table? The truth of this 1,000-year grudge will be fully dissected in the Soul Eater Part 2. Click like and subscribe now so you don't miss the moment the truth is finally brought to light. Goodbye, and see you in Part 2 with 6 minutes of movie tales.